You've probably heard me talking about this self-sufficient living skills bundle that's been going on. And I have been spending the last week flipping through so many of the incredible resources within this bundle. Now, I will say there's a lot. There's over 118 different ebooks and courses and lessons sharing incredible wisdom and knowledge with you so you can live off the land and you don't have to rely on this corrupt and broken system for everything for your family. Anyways, I wanted to share some of my favorite things. One, first off, is off-grid homeopathy. This course is loaded with so much incredible knowledge, talking about homeopathy for first aid, for colds and flu, how to make your own homeopathic remedies. Like, as an herbalist who loves to teach that stuff, that's pretty exciting to hear it in the homeopathy realm. There's also some incredible fermentation guides, so many other amazing herbal recipes and food recipes, and how to make your own sourdough bread, how to do your own organic gardening and canning of all of your foods. Really, there is so much. And yes, I know. I've talked about it a ton, but this entire bundle is only $50 right now until Sunday, March 24th. I'm sharing my herbal first aid skills, which is a course that's $47 on its own. I'm sharing recipes that I used when I got my products into REI for herbal first aid kits and so much more. You'll have to check it out. I'm serious. Like, you can absolutely change your life with this bundle. So there is a link in the show notes for you, and I hope you check it out. I hope you take advantage. Don't worry, you don't have to go through everything right away. You can access everything for up to a year. Once you're in the course or have the download, it's yours for life. It is a steal of a deal. Okay, self-sufficient living skills bundle in the links for you. Gut health. It's something we hear about so much, especially in the beginning of a new year, right? But I want to challenge you to start thinking about not only your own gut health, but the health of your children's gut too. It actually directly impacts their quality of life, their overall health, their ability to succeed in all of the things. And if you are a mama who has been dealing with your kids being sick all the time, maybe some major behavioral or moody emotional issues happening, or watching them just have a really hard time struggling in school, the key just may be in the gut. So in this episode, I am going to share with you 3 of the major reasons it's so important to pay attention to our kiddos' gut health. Tune in, let me know what you think. Hello and welcome to the Herbalist Path, a podcast where you'll discover how to make your own herbal remedies at home so that you can take better care of yourself, better care of your family, and better care of our planet. I'm Mel. I'm a clinical herbalist, environmental educator, and mountain living mama with this crazy passion for teaching more mamas and their little loves how to use plants as medicine in a safe, effective, and tasty way so that there can be an herbalist in every home. Again, it's an absolute honor to have you on the journey down the herbalist path with me so that together we can make herbalism #spread like wildflowers. Hiya there, mamas. Happy New Year. Happy 2023. I hope that it's starting off amazingly well so far. I know for me, it actually is. I for sure went through the holiday burnout of being a mom and hustling to and fro and tons of bad food being thrown at me and just automatically going into my body. I had no control of it, I swear. Or maybe I could have. Anyways, as we're heading into 2023, I've just been focusing a little bit more on me. I did have to stop in 2022 and just say, hey, Mel, it's okay to just take a break and chillax a bit. And I did, and it was so worth it. I feel like I'm embarking on having my soul satisfaction and happiness shine again, which I don't know if you guys can relate. It's amazing. Like I miss that piece of me. Maybe you didn't know that piece of me was gone because you don't know me that well, but it was, honestly, it really was. And I think we all have our struggles and things to deal with. But today I wanted to come on and talk about gut health and the many ways that it actually impacts our kiddos and their overall health and success in life. So as we head into the new year, it's really, really easy for us to focus on all the things we need to do to get our health back into tip-top shape, right? I mean, there's billions of dollars in the diet industry throwing ads at us. So how could we not think about it, right? And I know that there's all kinds of heavy focus on gut health during this time of year with good right, because our gut health is truly the key to our overall health, right? And it's usually the root cause of many, many, many different illnesses and diseases that we commonly face today. So I get it. I know why people are talking about it. I even sell a course on herbs for optimal gut health. And we talk about all of the ways that you can really look at how the digestive system works and how that impacts your brain and your immune health and all of those things. So anyways, I wanted to talk more about this episode, not so much for you or for me, but for our kids. I really want to challenge you to think about your kiddos' health too, and the many ways that their gut health is impacting their overall health. So, of course, we know they'll be able to look and feel better just like we do, right? And maintaining optimal gut health is really a great way to avoid obesity and cardiovascular health conditions, which are rampant in our kiddos today in the US. But that's not it. That's not all. Your kid's success in life isn't determined by their waistline, right? But I do want to focus on a few of the other things that can really help your kiddos actually live better, that can help them to avoid getting sick all of the time, that can improve their ability to focus in school and help them be less moody or deal with anxiety, which all of those things, when they're sick, when they're not doing well with their schoolwork, when they are moody as all get out, really causes you a whole heck of a lot of stress as mama, right? I mean, I know it does in our home. So today I just want to bring up a few of the things like immune health, the brain, and how it functions and how gut health dramatically impacts our kiddos' mood. So let's start off with immune health because this cold and flu season, everybody's been sick. We've been dealing with COVID. We've been dealing with RSV. We've been dealing with flus. We've been dealing with common colds, all the things, right? But here's a thing to think about. Your gut is actually one of the main entry points for these bugs, these bacteria, these viruses, pathogens to get into your body, right? So if your child's gut is not being the strong barrier it's designed to be, it's highly more likely that they're going to pick up every single nasty illness that is flying around, whether it be colds or flus or whatever. So if any of you moms are out there that have been dealing with that never-ending cycle of sickness, maybe it's time to look to the gut because there is research that suggests that a poor balance of gut bacteria during childhood can and likely does increase the risk of gut-related allergies like asthma and eczema and colds and flu. And there's a lot of ways that you can build your child's immunity, right? You want to introduce the good gut bugs. You want to quit feeding the bad gut bugs and all of these things. And when you can start to do that, you'll notice that your kiddo starts to feel more energetic and wants to play more and is less moody and not getting sick all the time, right? And here's another thing to recognize is that over 70 to 80% of your immune cells are in the gut. They mostly hang out in the small intestine, and it's really a huge part of the body's innate immune response. So it makes sense that the immune system would have a really, really heavy presence because it is the largest mucous membrane that's interfacing with the outside world, right? Yeah, crazy. So your gut is mucosal tissue, and it's the entire digestive tract, where you might look at it and think, okay, this is inside the body, but really it's kind of outside the body. It's a crazy concept, but bear with me here. So I want you to think of your digestive system or your kiddo's digestive system basically like this long paper towel cardboard tube that goes from the mouth, where we take in all of our foods and the viruses and bacteria often, all the way down to the anus, where we get rid of all the waste. That's where we poop everything out, right? So your digestive system is basically outside of your body. It's acting as a boundary maintainer, and its job is to keep the food particles and the pathogens, the bacteria and the viruses, from entering your bloodstream. And when it cannot do its job well, which happens often for many people in our society, is when we get these leaks in the tight junctions of this boundary lining paper towel tube of the digestive system. When we get those leaks in those tight junctions, that is what we call leaky gut. And what's happening is it's allowing all of these food particles and molecules and pathogens out into the bloodstream and the immune system. And then your immune system starts making all these antibodies and these T cells, and they enter the blood and the lymphatic system, and they end up circulating throughout your body, right? So then as that's happening, the immune system has to fight all of the time, which means it's inflammation. Inflammation is your immune system doing its job, fighting off the bad guys. And when we continue to eat foods that are causing this response, this immune system is constantly primed to fight in a constant state of inflammation, which more often than not is also going to show in some signs of some form of illness, right? So certain signs of leaky gut or this kind of inflammation happening all the time might show up as diarrhea, constipation, being constantly bloated. Maybe there's nutritional deficiencies. Maybe there's fatigue, constant sleepiness. Maybe there's headaches, tummy aches, difficulty concentrating. Maybe it's showing up as acne or eczema or random rashes of who knows what caused it. Maybe you're confused. Maybe you're dealing with joint pain. Maybe it's just that, holy cow, I can't do any of the things. This is your body saying, hey, help me. I'm unhappy here. And it's because all of those bad gut bacteria are taking over the entire microbiome. We really need to stop feeding those bad gut bugs. That includes sugar. We need to feed the good bugs. We need to introduce more good bugs into the digestive system and the entire gut tract. Anyways, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here. I'm sorry. But my point is that if your kids are constantly sick, it may be a time to look at their gut health. What's going on in their microbiome? We're talking about this. We're talking about all the herbs that can help, along with the different lifestyle choices inside of Apothecary Mama throughout the month of January, because it really is the core of all things wellness, for lack of a better word, for our kiddos. In fact, it really is directly correlated to their brain function. Yes, your kids' gut health can affect their brain and their ability to focus in life. There are tons of studies linking things like ADHD and dyslexia and brain fog and confusion and so much more to the health of the gut microbiome, which makes tons of sense because there's actually a second brain in the gut, and it's the enteric nervous system. There's over 100 million nerve cells that are lining your digestive system through that enteric nervous system. So from your esophagus down to the rectum, 100 million neurons. That's the same amount of neurons that are in your spinal cord. That's the same amount of neurons in the lower brainstem and the upper brainstem. It's wild. So I personally have observed this myself time and time again. I've gone back and forth between really focusing on that healthy gut microbiome, and I've had the times in life where I just didn't, for whatever reason it may have been. And every time I don't, guess what happens? I can't focus. I can't get my work done. My shine and my energy decline. My brain is nowhere near as sharp as I know it can be. I definitely am not in my greatest physical health. My body is achy. It doesn't move as well. My belly is bloated. I gain weight. All of these things happen. And I know it happens to so many people. It makes perfect sense that it does. And honestly, sometimes I just have to stop and take time to love and forgive myself for this. I know that life isn't always easy to maintain this level of health and consciousness about it, especially in our society where we're thrown sugar and gluten and all the unhealthy processed food-like stuff that's been marketed to us. We're going from holiday celebration to holiday celebration, and it's really, really hard to avoid. And that's what the big guys out there with their fancy marketing dollars want to have happen. They're controlling our world, and they're setting us up for sickness and sick care instead of optimal health, whether it's the pharmaceutical industry or the big food industry out there. It is happening all over the place. And with that being said, we don't have to succumb to it all. I'm here to tell you that you can make the shifts and you can help your kiddos do the same. And when you do, you're going to have a newfound energy. You're going to see less emotional breakdowns with your kiddos. You're going to have less emotional breakdowns. And you know what? You might even get to wear a genuine smile so much more and share that with other people. And goodness gracious, we need that in this world today. It's really, really tough. Hey, I wanted to take a quick pause to show some love and gratitude to our sponsors of the Herbalist Path podcast, who make this show possible for me and possible for you too. So here it goes. Medicinal mushrooms are all the rage these days, if you didn't know already. And with great reason, because they are powerful medicine that can improve your health and your life in so many different ways when they're well made. Yeah, it's true. There's a lot of stuff on the market that isn't going to be so effective. And that's why you need to find a brand that you can actually trust. For me, that brand is Whole Sun Wellness, and this is the creation of a brilliant woman and fellow mama, Jamie Bonfiglio. She's an international mushroom educator that has been working in the medicinal mushroom industry for years. And this is when she saw firsthand how many other companies take shortcuts when it comes to their products. And Jamie wasn't having it. She set out to build her company the right way. Whole Sun Wellness is here to raise the industry standards so those crap mushrooms on the market aren't getting into your body or your family's body. Whole Sun Wellness is the first company to test and report nutritional facts for all of their extracts. They go beyond industry standards every step of the way, from sourcing to extraction and final testing. And as the owners of the largest medicinal mushroom farm in the United States, Whole Sun Wellness is taking control of their supply chain for the highest quality and absolute full transparency. They're even the first company to include pure mycelium extract in every single product. So when you're thinking of getting medicinal mushrooms for you and your family, Whole Sun Wellness is exactly the ones you want. Also, be sure to check out their new Mycolites. These are the world's first dissolvable electrolyte tablets. They're featuring functional mushroom extracts that'll give you more energy, more stamina, and recovery as well. And who couldn't use all of that? The other thing is, they are these adorable little mushroom-shaped tablets, and they come in like a little Altoids box, but way cooler than Altoids because they're Mycolites. Anyways, head to wholesunwellness.com to grab yourself some mycolights and all of the other functional medicinal mushrooms that you and your family need. And of course, you can grab that link right here in the show notes now. It's really tough. And I know, again, because I've been there. So I'm actually in January, later this month, I will be opening up some one-on-one health and support for any of you trying to figure out how to get to the root of your health issues, even if you're trying to get rid of chronic disease and inflammation that you've been dealing with, or maybe you are on some medications that you wish that you weren't. I will be opening up a few spots to work one-on-one with people. So if that's something you're interested in, I would love to support you and guide you and help you navigate that, what can be a very, very confusing world. So anyways, that's not what I'm here to talk about. There I go on a tangent again. I do want to talk about one of the neurotransmitters that is produced in the gut that has a direct correlation to everything we're talking about in this episode. And it's norepinephrine. And this is kind of known as the, hey, pay attention, or the ADHD neurotransmitter. So norepinephrine plays a key role in your sleep-wake cycle, right? So it helps you to wake up. It increases your attention and ability to focus on getting a task done and on memory storage. It's also really important for regulating emotions. Problems with norepinephrine levels are commonly associated with things like anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, substance abuse, things along those lines. And if you have low levels of norepinephrine in your body, it can cause a great lack of energy, lack of ability to concentrate, ADHD, depression. There's actually quite a few antidepressant medications out there that directly affect the norepinephrine levels in the brain. There's also some herbs that can have a really big impact on norepinephrine levels in the brain, right? So that's just one of the neurotransmitters being produced in there. And it definitely has an effect on the brain's ability to function, right? But it also has that effect on major moods. So if you are seeing constant breakdowns, anxiety, tummy upset when anxiety happens, this is a huge communication piece happening within the body right there. That's the gut yelling to the brain, hey, I'm really not well. Help me. Help me. Something is wrong here. And it's so hard for us to listen to those triggers or to help our kids to listen to those triggers. But it's up to us as parents to help them recognize, to help them learn, to help them see that there is something wrong here. Constant tummy aches are not okay. Constant breakdowns are not okay. There is a reason this happens. And right now, it's probably huge coming off the holiday season because there's so much sugar going on, right? Sugar everywhere in the holidays, which is one of the most addictive drugs out there. And when our sweet little kiddos get addicted, there can be quite a few days of insane tantrums when we don't allow them to get that sugar fix. And I want to let you know that if you can do this and say, no, we're not having all the sugar all the time, and maybe it's cold turkey on them, but within 3 days, those nasty, nasty gut bugs that are actually sending chemical messages to the brain saying, give me more sugar, they suddenly get quieter after 3 days as we allow the good gut bugs to come in and take over and we stop feeding them. They lose their energy and their power to say, give me more sugar, give me more sugar. And it's amazing. You will really, really quickly start to see their mood improve, start to see their energy improve, their skin, all of these things. It's really, really cool to watch. It's cool to watch in yourself, and it's even better to watch in your children when you can feel like, oh my gosh, I am doing something really good for them. And it's because this happens because there's, again, the neurotransmitters that are being produced in the gut. One of them is dopamine. And if you don't know about dopamine, it's basically the feel-good neurotransmitter. So our brain releases it when we eat food that we crave, while we have special pleasurable intimacy. It really does a great job of contributing to the feelings of pleasure and satisfaction. And it's just basically part of our reward system internally. It boosts mood, it boosts motivation and attention, and it helps to regulate movement, learning, and emotional responses. And 95% of our serotonin is made in the digestive system. So that's our happiness neurotransmitter. 95% made in the gut. That is amazing. And serotonin impacts every part of the body, from the emotions to your motor skills. It's really considered a natural mood stabilizer. It's a chemical that helps with sleep, eating, digestion. It also helps reduce depression, regulate anxiety, maintain bone health, and so much more. And the norepinephrine and the serotonin work really, really well together to combat things like depression. So the serotonin comes in to improve your mood, and the norepinephrine improves your alertness and energy. And the cool thing is, there's so many ways that we can boost these chemicals naturally, right? Through exercise, through adequate sleep, through celebrating your small accomplishments and saying, yay, I did it. Listening to pleasurable music, dancing to that music, doing some meditation. And yes, you can eat things like a nice dark chocolate. That would be great. Right? And of course, there's tons of herbs for it as well. And that's totally what we're focusing on in Apothecary Mama this month. We're going to do a pretty big deep dive on all things gut health and the various ways that it and using herbs and plants as medicine can improve your kiddo's gut health. Of course, it will take dietary and lifestyle choices to be made. So that's really, really important. And then this month in Apothecary Mama, it's our first month bringing on a guest teacher. I'm super excited to start bringing other brilliant educators and healers and doctors and herbalists. Our first guest is a fellow mama and a motherhood mentor and a naturopathic physician. And she's going to come on and talk about optimal nutrition for our kiddos to thrive in life. So it's super exciting. If you want to learn more about Apothecary Mama, I'll for sure leave a link to that in the show notes. And gosh, I know I rambled a lot about like the science and the reasons why, gut health impacts our kiddos' overall success and ability to live an awesome life, just like it does for us. Super duper important. On my next episode, I'll be talking a little bit more about some of my favorite herbs to impact digestive health, and I really hope that you tune into it. And if this episode is at all helpful for you, if it makes you go, oh my gosh, that's what I have been dealing with, and I really need to get a grip on this, reach out and let me know. If you want to work on it with me one-on-one, reach out and let me know. I would love to be there to support you. And of course, you are also welcome to come join us inside of Apothecary Mama and join us for our bi-weekly live Q&A calls and our deep dive herbal workshops, and really start to feel confident and take your family's health back into your own hands. It's so worth it. And thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I promise that next round we'll do a little bit more herb nerding, okay? Happy 2023 to you. I wish you all of the best. And it all starts with getting to the root of the problem. Cheers to you and your family too. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of The Herbalist Path. Being on this journey with you is absolutely incredible. If you dig this episode, please leave me a review on your favorite podcast player and share it with your friends so that together We can make herbalism, hashtag spread like wildflowers. On another note, I must mention that while I know you're getting some good info here, it's important to remember that this podcast is purely for entertainment and educational purposes and is not intended to be a substitute for medical treatment. While the information in this podcast is absolutely relevant, herbs work differently for each person and each condition. That's why I recommend you work with a qualified practitioner, whether that be another herbalist, a naturopath, or your doctor. So thank you again. I am truly honored that you're tuning into these episodes and on the path with me to make sure that there's an herbalist in every home again. Don't forget to share this episode with your friends so that we can make herbalism, hashtag spread like wildflowers. It has been so much fun and so, joyous watching all of my medicinal plant friends popping up in my garden, from the Ella Campaign to the Comfrey and the Arnica. I love seeing these friends pop up. And if you are still trying to decide what to grow in your medicinal herb garden, you've got to grab my guide. It's all about the most essential herbs that every mom should know and should grow. So I teach you how to grow them and the many different ways that you can use them. If you want to grab the guide, go ahead. It's free, and I'm pretty sure you're going to get a lot of delight and use out of it. And there's a link to it in the show notes. I'm wishing you tons of happy medicine planting.